Unfortunately, the Ohio issue number 1 ended up getting voted in. And if you guys are not familiar with this was the vote to enshrine a right to abortion into the Constitution of the state of Ohio. Now, I actually do have to go ahead and correct something that I said previously. This video I have to apologize for. Ohio's issue 1 was bad and didn't make sense. I now kind of understand why the pro-lifers were in support or in opposition to issue 1. That issue 1, by the way, was the one that changed the threshold to, get a change in the Constitution passed from 60% to 50%. That actually is what allowed this thing to pass. If that failed, this thing wouldn't have gone through because, this only got 55% of the vote. So it would have actually been a little close still. It would have come like 5% shy. But that issue was what led to this. So I do want to apologize for that take. That was a bad take. It's also a bad take when you consider that in the majority of states, the threshold is at 60% to change the Constitution. And also, as I actually noted in my video, the people who were saying that this was a bad idea also ran an organization where in order to change their chapter guidelines, the threshold was, you guessed it, 60%. So this is, obviously bad news, I would say, at least for people who are pro-life. But what does this actually mean? Well, let's go ahead and read the text of what this actually says. A yes vote supported amending the Constitution, the Ohio Constitution, to bullet point 1, provide a state constitutional right to make and carry out one's own reproductive decisions, including but not limited to decisions about abortion, contraception, fertility treatment, miscarriage care, and continuing pregnancy, and, second bullet point, allow the state to restrict abortion after fetal viability except when, quote, necessary to protect the pregnant patient's life or health. So, I mean, that's not great, right? It's not great. Also, it's interesting that it says, the state is allowed to restrict abortion after fetal viability because, that is not particularly specific language, right? Not particularly specific language. But it's the first part that is the issue, right? I am pro-life and, no state constitution should be passing any change that prevents people from banning abortions, right? I think every state should have a ban on abortion. But in the absence of that, we should have limits on abortion as much as, as is reasonable, of course, right? I do think that, allowing abortion to save the life of the mother, it's a rare case, but if that ever happens, then that should be something that is allowed. So, I am a little bit disappointed that this is something that passed in Ohio. I told a bunch of my Civil University friends to vote no, but to no avail. The thing passed. Now, here's something interesting. Many people are now wondering if this is a massive referendum on the pro-life issue writ large. But I don't think it's quite as simple as many pro-lifers or even pro-choicers would like to have us believe. Because there was this poll that came out about abortion. Maybe not the vast majority, but the majority of people are saying that abortion should be legal in all or most cases. If we look at this poll here from the AP as well as NORC, the majority of people say that abortion should be legal in all or most cases. Although interesting, only 26% say that abortion should be legal in all cases. I feel like that's a rather interesting number. But if you break it down, it's a little bit more complicated. So for example, opinions like this thing here says, opinions are divided when you get to 15 weeks. There are, let's see here. So for example, when you look at legal abortion 15 weeks into pregnancy, overall, only 51% support that, with 75% of Democrats supporting it, a lot of people, but only 29% of Republicans supporting it. And when you get even deeper, that's when things get murkier. Only 27% of people overall support abortion 24 weeks into a pregnancy, and not even a majority of Democrats support abortion at 24 weeks of pregnancy. So while you're hearing a lot of rhetoric from Republicans saying, oh, they want to allow abortion all the way up until birth, you're not really seeing a lot of Democrat support for that type of policy. Many people have been saying, including folks like Nikki Haley, they've been pointing out how there's a surprising amount of support for a 15-week ban nationally. And I actually agree, as a pro-lifer who does want all abortion banned unless it's for the life of the mother, I do think that that's something that we should push for. It's a positive change. It's not just a positive change, it's one that a lot of people would support. Now, it's not like the simplest thing in the world, and I don't think that we can expect within like the next 5 to 10 years to change the whole world or change the United States into being a pro-life state. But I think the more time goes on and the more time people think about abortion, they're kind of realizing that, you know what? Do we want more Kurt Gosnells? Do we want doctors like chopping off babies' heads right as soon as they come out of the birth canal? I don't know about that. Something about that makes me queasy. And I think that there are a lot of pro-choicers who they're trying to figure out even still what their line is for when abortion should be legal or when it shouldn't be legal, when it's wrong and when it's not wrong. So, as the nation continues to wrestle with this topic, I think rather than being polarizing and being like, oh no, we should only pass bills that ban all abortion. We should only support people who are willing to ban all abortion. One step at a time. We need to take things one step at a time. And I understand the impatience, right? Abortion has been around for way too long. But change takes time, right? Rome was not built in a day, and neither did it fall apart in a day, right? These things take time to happen. So be patient, continue to vote, continue to pray, and I think most importantly, pay more attention to things like this. There's no reason why the pro-lifers were only talking about this like within the past 24 hours. That's ridiculous. And I admit, right, I'm technically something of a pundit myself, although I barely get any views. I just do this for fun. I admit I also have not been raising the alarm about this bill. To a degree, I presume that most people knew about it because the initial bill from like 2 months ago to change the threshold, to change the Constitution, to change what was in the Ohio Constitution, that was making waves in the pro-life community like three months ago. So I presume that most people already knew that this was coming up. But us Republicans need to do a whole lot better, especially the pro-life ones, about mobilizing the vote for these things. Because I bet there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, wait, this was codified in the Constitution? I didn't know about this. I should have voted. Well, it's too late now. And this is the consequence. So pay more attention to what is going on in your local legislatures. This is one of the big ones that had national news, national notoriety, and also it's also something that, it affects some people at the university where I still have friends who are at. So, I figured it was something to talk about, something important. So I don't think it's a referendum on abortion writ large because, first of all, it was so vague. And second of all, opinions are just so split on the matter. But it is what it is. I just say, just get them next time. There will be more votes on abortion, believe me.